Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since we've done a video, but I'm back here with Kevin. It's been 5 years, Kevin.
5 years.
Actually guys, I want to be honest with you. We just filmed pretty much an entire video, and I made the mistake of taking photos instead of video on the GoPro. So this is our second take, but we know what we're talking about now, don't we, Kevin?
Well, I might throw a few curveballs here by giving you the completely opposite answers to what I gave you before, and that'll really throw you. But anyway, we can do it again.
Right, well, we're just going to go for a little drive. We're going to talk about cars, we're going to talk about favourite journeys, memories, we're going to talk about Maserati as a brand. Kevin's had this car for 7 years, is that right?
Yeah, just over
7 years.
Yeah.
So let's head off.
Great.
Owning this car as a Maserati? Have you been happy with your choice?
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I would do the same thing again. Not least because driving a very nice sports car at a certain point in your life gives you the thrill of a lifetime. And although I've had it for over 7 years, I never get bored of driving the car, feeling like I'm driving something that's somewhat uncommon, and something with a bit of power and a bit of finesse. So yeah, it's been a great sort of 7 years. Yeah.
Do you feel like you have a bit more road presence? Do you feel like people are turning their heads sometimes?
A little bit. I mean, I wouldn't overstate it. It hasn't got a soft top. I don't look like George Clooney, and so there are a few drawbacks. But you still get long looks, particularly when you're going to places where Maseratis aren't typically well seen. So outside of an urban centre, or if I'm on holiday.
You were mentioning you went on a really nice trip in France.
Yeah, that was fabulous. Yeah, I took this down to the middle of France where we have a home, and that's sort of about an 11-hour drive. And it was a great experience, not least because you're driving through a wonderful country full of great scenery, beautiful roads, uncluttered, no potholes. So you have the joy of that and the opportunity to listen to audiobooks for quite a long part of that journey. But then you get to where we live and it's very remote. And over there they only drive Peugeots and Citroens, and Renaults. So you don't expect to see an Italian sports car. So when you drive there, or when I did drive there, I felt like I was just this film star, and certainly it felt like everyone else thought I was just some guy completely taking the wrong turn and arrived at a very remote and unfamiliar French town. So yeah, that was great. That was a great journey.
I can imagine this car really fits in well there with the landscape and the culture.
Yeah, and I think we talked earlier, didn't we, about why this particular car, I guess, and somehow I seem to have had quite a few Italian cars, and there is something about the design and the sort of style of these cars that draws me more than the kind of engineering.
I think the Italians have always had a sort of flair for that. I don't know if it's like an emotional. It probably is quite an emotional kind of connection.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe the German cars are built brilliantly, but they don't really have that kind of sort of. They might be soulless sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, functionality versus flamboyance, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, also there's the Maserati's got that distinctive grille. It's got the Trident sort of logo. It's got this lovely little clock here, which you can't see, but which is a distinctive feature. So there's little bits of it that make you feel like, there is something luxurious about the experience. So I quite like that, and particularly for someone like me who's not a petrol head, and I'm quite shallow, these sorts of things really appeal.
When you're younger, do you feel like, obviously we have had the part of this conversation before, and you said you had a lovely Fiat Spider. Is this the most exciting car you've owned, or was that more exciting?
I think that's a hard one, because they're both exciting but for different reasons. So this was exciting because it was kind of my midlife crisis. So I had, this was my kind of, yes, I'm still young and I can still drive sports cars kind of, excitement. Back then when I bought an Alfa Romeo Spider, it was like the first sort of opportunity to move away from just, I'll drive a car because I just have to go from A to B. This was my first time I was buying a car because I wanted to have a thrill from going from A to B. And so the excitement was different, but no less, pronounced. And it was a soft top. I remember one time going around a roundabout in Muswell Hill, North London, and definitely having a couple of girls shout out, "Nice car, mate." And that's always stuck with me, because that never happens really. No, this was in the Alfa Romeo, the Spider.
Oh wow.
Yeah. My first car was a Fiat, but it was a Fiat Punto, which is slightly less glamorous than the Alfa.
No girls shouting.
No, extremely. Yeah, exactly. Just not likely.
So Kevin, you were saying that you were thinking this is probably nearing the end of the road for the Maserati.
Yes, I think so, and I don't say that lightly. It's done about 64,000 miles over the sort of slightly more than 7 years, and I love it to bits, but it is showing, like me, some age. So the sat nav on it needs upgrading. That's quite a process for some reason, and I've had a couple of issues with the electrics in terms of when it starts. So I've replaced the battery a couple of times in the last 2 or 3 years. So it just sort of starts to show a wee bit of age. I don't know, maybe it's the case for a lot of cars that after sort of 7 or 8 years you make a decision.
Are you getting the frustration with the brand, or?
No, not at all. No. I still, I get a lot of the correspondence from Maserati on their new cars, the new designs. The really super cars that they've got, and they all just still look to me super attractive. And I have actually toyed with the idea of maybe going to Ghibli as well. Because that's slightly shorter than this car. I think one of the challenges of driving a Quattroporte is it's about 5 meters long. So it's not the easiest car to park in say town. So I thought about that, but equally, Ghibli, Quattroporte, Fiat, doesn't matter. They've all got to drive on these horrible English roads full of frickin' potholes, and it's just not robust, this car, for that kind of terrain, and it's just a shame.
It's just very irritating that we have to sort of buy our cars around what the roads are available to us.
I know, it's a real shame, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better.
No, at least not fast. Topic we've both been wanting to talk about.
Yes, why not?
All day. Our favourite TV show, Succession.
You must watch Succession.
Watch it, please. It is season 4 now. If you haven't watched it, it's essentially a family-run business, and everyone's vying for the succession. It's ruthless. There's a lot of stakes and emotions in play. Kevin, who's your favourite character from the show?
Well, there's a few actually. It's difficult to pick one. I will pick one, but I think I give honourable mentions to a character called Greg. And TJ, you and I spoke about him. He's this amazing kind of slightly geeky, awkward, sort of slightly distant relative. So he's not a sibling. Yeah. He's a kind of cousin, I think. Mm-hmm. And he's starting to ingratiate himself with everybody, doing his best, but sort of kind of failing a little bit. Wriggling his way into sort of favour. But not in a malicious way, actually. More by just...
He's quite awkward, isn't he?
Yeah, just by being awkward and...
somehow he does make it quite far. But who's your most... your favourite character to watch?
So, ultimately, my favourite character is not Greg. I mean, he's a great character. There's also a guy called Tom, who's the slightly devious sort of husband of Shiv, or son-in-law. But the favourite character has to be Roman, who's played by, I think, Macaulay Culkin's brother, who is dysfunctional, funny, kind of deviant in many ways, insecure, and just desperate to try and please his father. But failing again, like a lot of the siblings, a lot of the children. But yeah, he's super funny and he's got the best lines, I think.
Do you think he's a serious contender? Or do you think any of the children are?
Well, I think that's what Logan, I think, in one of the episodes, which we can't possibly reveal, but in one of them he does actually refer to them all as not serious.
Yes.
So, they're all tainted by that. I think Roman, probably of all of them, is, I think, least competent.
Really?
Yeah, because neither Shiv nor Kendall have business flaws as such. You could say, well, look, they sort of paid too much for such and such or whatever, but whereas I don't see any of that in Roman at all, and he's got this sort of dodgy behaviour, which I don't think any father would appreciate. Sons can make mistakes, but not where they sort of behave in such a way as he does. But what do you think? Who's your favourite character and why?
Well, I think I like Kendall. I'd like him to come out on top if he could have that full circle from where he was at the end of the first season.
Okay, yeah.
I think Shiv's just really arrogant at the moment, and I don't think she could. I don't know where they're going really. It's quite hard. The writers are brilliant, and they could head in any direction.
Yeah, I think reflecting on the fact that it's 4 series in, and yet we're still none the wiser as to who's really going to succeed, or who's the favourite. We still don't know. So it's a testament to the good writing and the storylines that they've put together.
But I think if Kendall came out on top, I would probably be... Well, I don't know. When they wrap up the show, it's hard to be satisfied with just one outcome. It's the same as Game of Thrones. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
No, you see, now I couldn't watch that because that's sort of more sci-fi.
Yeah.
Or science fiction, and it's not my thing. I just can't get into that sort of thing.
Well, with that, when they finished, there was such a split with who was happy and who was
really?
Angry at who died and who was on top. And this, I almost think Succession is like a 21st century Game of Thrones in the boardrooms.
Interesting.
In the business world.
See, now when I look at Succession, I don't look at it as a kind of end game. I don't think about, well, who's going to win. I just like the journey.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they're kind of all vying for attention and love and validation. and no one of you can imagine that actually no one of them will ever really get that, but they think they can, and the whole idea of Succession is that you win a prize, you win something, it's done. But actually I don't think it will end like that. I think it'll always be problematic, and maybe maybe that's what happens with real life as well.
What would you say it's realistic?
Well, it's certainly not a reflection of my family, of course, but and not least because we haven't got anything like the wealth of that guy. But I think I work for an investment firm which managed money on behalf of families, very, very rich families, and there are some similarities between what I saw with some of those families and some of the shenanigans with Succession. So it does, they say life imitates art or whatever, but there is some sense that these tensions and this dysfunctionality that you have on screen, it plays out in families that have.
Do you
all
have
this
any examples you could share?
Well, there's one family, for example, who were quite extended in the relationships we had to manage. So lots of brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, and there was one issue where there was great drama and great upset, and it wasn't because of the money that we were managing or the investment returns or anything like that. It was due to the fact that we learned that one of the sons had put himself forward and had been accepted as a reality TV show contestant on a very, very major, well-known TV show, and this individual was pronouncing himself as, "Hey, I'm such and such, a member of the X family," and the other family members, of course, panicked because what they thought was that he was effectively putting himself out there, and therefore they should all go and get further insurance and security protection from those who might want to take advantage and rob the family. So
what was your role in that? Were you trying to limit the sort of...
Fortunately, I wasn't a relationship manager. I was the guy who was responsible for the investment side of things. So I very much had to leave that to others to deal with.
And at the time, were you sort of, was it like sit back and laugh?
Well, I just thought, I just thought, this is crazy. This is an issue that affects no one else, or very, very 99% of other families do not have this issue. Right? So we don't race around going, oh, we need to insure ourselves for the fact that our son has done something crazy. It's not really going to be an issue for any of us, I think. So yeah, very unusual environment, and you can see why Success. All right, how about I do it? I start off.
Okay.
Well, it's been a great experience for me having Kevin drive me around in this beautiful car. So Kevin, thank you very much for that.
Thank you, TJ. I've enjoyed the experience very much. It's a shame about the mishap with the filming, but
well, we recovered from that, I think. I'm not sure we recovered it. Cut. What happened there? Oh, the car came. I wasn't even thinking about that.
I don't know what I was saying. It sounded awful. I
was paying too much attention to the video and the filming. I completely forgot.
We can just go again now.
Well, thanks very much, Kevin, for today's drive. It's been great to see you after 5 years. You kind of look a bit younger, if you don't mind me saying.
That's very kind of you, Kevin. I mean, TJ.
Car.
And again.
Well, thank you very much for today, Kevin. It's been great to catch up after 5 years. Good to see you again, and I must say you're looking younger.
Thank you, TJ. That's very kind of you. You've aged a bit since I've seen you, but you look great too.
Thank you. And your driving's improved. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll do it again in 5 years.
Cool.
Great.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. It's almost funny actually keeping the outtakes.